Welcome to the world of Street Fighter, where fierce warriors from around the globe come together to battle for glory, revenge, supremacy, and to be the ultimate fighter ever lived. Today's video will be all about Cammy, from her first debut in Super Street Fighter 2 to her recent, breathtaking appearance in Street Fighter 6. Differing from Tekken character videos, I'll be talking about Cammy's story in chronological order, starting with the Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, to keep things simpler and easier to understand. Keep in mind that I will be only talking about the in-game arcade story events and do not dig into the comics or anything. Originally introduced as an enigmatic and deadly assassin in Super Street Fighter 2, Cammy White has evolved over the years to be an iconic and beloved character in Street Fighter universe. I'm Arcade Out here, and today we'll dig deeper into the dark past of Cammy, who used to be known as Killer Bee of Shadaloo and the protector of its dolls. Starting with Super Street Fighter 2, Cammy is known by her signature outfit, a turtleneck, sleeveless green tongue leotard that consists of a delta red triangle insignia, and of course with a red beret, her legs decorated with marks of green camouflage paint as being Delta Red Cammy. However, starting with X-Men vs Street Fighter and Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, Cammy appears in her Killer Bee persona, with Cammy wearing a light blue tongue leotard this time, however having the same iconic moves with a fast and agile fighting style, mostly known with Spiral Arrow and Cannon Strike. Her playstyle has become more nuanced over the time, with new moves and combos that make her a formidable opponent. It's important to know that Cammy has relationships with lots of characters from Street Fighter universe, with characters like Chun-Li, Ryu, Guile, and even Vega. All these characters have influence on Cammy's character development, and probably the most important ones are Chun-Li and maybe, oddly enough, Vega himself. First of all, although Cammy's debut is with Super Street Fighter 2, her first arcade story can be seen within Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, as we see Cammy as an agent of Shadaloo, fighting for M. Bison with the codename Killer Bee. However, before digging deeper into Cammy's arcade stories, let's talk about her origin story and background first. Cammy's actual birthplace and early history are quite unknown. As we see her in Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, she is not the same Cammy that we know now. Alpha 2 Gold's Cammy is known as Killer Bee, dressed in all blue and serving the Shadaloo, where she was a soulless doll as the strongest assassin of M. Bison himself. During her arcade story, we see Cammy fighting against strong fighters around the globe, discovering who she is and even the meaning of her own existence. During the last battle of arcade, where we face M. Bison himself, Cammy asks him what her purpose in life is. Knowing M. Bison and his evil attitude, he tells Cammy that she was only existing to serve him. Realizing Cammy is getting stronger during her travel across the globe, fighting against different fighters, Cammy was about to become M. Bison's favorite. And even though Cammy wins her battle against M. Bison here, she is hit by a bolt of electric current and knocked down. Once again she is brainwashed, her memories erased by Shadaloo to become Killer Bee once again, leading to the events of Street Fighter Alpha 3, where her main goal is to assassinate Dalsim. During the events of Street Fighter Alpha 3, her encounter with the legendary yoga master Dalsim, he uses his spiritual powers to make her self-aware once again, forcing Cammy to realize that Shadaloo was in fact controlling her. As M. Bison sent Vega to observe Cammy, her story is also a bit revealed during Vega's arcade story here, as he reveals that she was an experiment of Shadaloo, no longer needed. However, during Vega's arcade story, this sadistic, lusting for blood fighter starts to sympathize with Cammy and questions M. Bison himself about her purpose in life, revealing the dark truth about Cammy. Through M. Bison's own words, we learn that Cammy is a substitute body for M. Bison, and a doll must never succeed the main body in terms of power. If the players finish the campaign as Vega, Cammy is saved but now has the potential to be the next vessel for M. Bison's return. Vega starts having doubts about killing Cammy, asking himself if he really only cared about worthy foes, seeing Cammy as a beautiful and fierce fighter, Cammy being Vega's ultimate rival in the future. If I were to go back to Cammy's arcade story, it is revealed by Vega that Shadaloo's hit squads were coming for her. The hit squad that is known as Dolls, sharing the same fate as Cammy. As Cammy tries to reach M. Bison to have some answers, she is encountered by Julie and Junie, two other Shadaloo dolls who lacked self-awareness, quite similar to how Cammy once was. Both Julie and Junie have importance in Cammy's story as she considers both of them as her own sisters, having a deep bond and close relationship with them. On the other hand, Junie is a mirror image of Cammy, a reminder of what she used to be before she lost her memories, and probably seeing Junie's blind loyalty to Bison makes Cammy question her own loyalty. By defeating and freeing them from Shadaloo's mind control, later on they will both appear in Cammy's stories, Junie appearing in Street Fighter 4 and Julie appearing in Street Fighter 5. As Cammy is confronted by M. Bison, we learn that once again Cammy is created as a clone, made by none other than M. Bison's own DNA, supposedly meant to become his next body after his current physical manifestation was destroyed by his own psycho power. As she defeats M. Bison and heads into Shadaloo base to free the other dolls from M. Bison's control, she encounters Chun-Li as Shadaloo's base was about to be destroyed. However, as soon as Cammy got the dolls out of the Shadaloo base, she fell unconscious, as an independent being, no longer a clone. Possibly around this time, Vega manages to rescue her before the base was destroyed, as I mentioned before, since he's really fond of Cammy's beauty and fierce power. Later on these events, we know that Vega leaves her on the doorstep of the British paramilitary government organization Delta Red, leading to the events of Street Fighter 2. As Super Street Fighter 2 is the predecessor of Street Fighter Alpha series, well, it might be best to not expect a deep, well-crafted storytelling this time. Cammy made her original debut in Street Fighter series with Super Street Fighter 2, where she was one of the 4 new characters added to the game. We know that after the events of Street Fighter Alpha 3, Cammy awoke with amnesia, and the Special Forces unit known as Delta Red took her in. Cammy was not able to remember her past while retaining nearly all of her fighting abilities, becoming a very valuable member of the Delta Red, as she learns about the upcoming Second World Warrior Tournament and discovers that M. Bison was part of it. Cammy feels a strange connection, as she was destined to participate and face this mysterious yet deadly tyrant. Cammy participates in the Super Street Fighter 2 tournament to learn about her past, and during the ending cutscene of her arcade, she once again learns the shocking truth from Bison himself, that she is a clone copy of M. Bison made by his DNA, and that she killed for him and he planned her to be a member of Delta Red and no longer needs her. Well, Cammy is stronger than before. She defeats M. Bison as her Delta Red teammates tell her that she has a new life to live and no longer needs to live in the past as a doll of Shadaloo. From that point, Cammy vows to rescue any doll from Shadaloo's control and to finish M. Bison, and with that, she works alongside Chun-Li and Guile. Cammy's story becomes deeper and more interesting with the launch of Street Fighter 4, as she does not appear during the events of Street Fighter 3, but there is one tiny thing, and a tiny mistranslation so to say, that during the ending cutscenes of Super Street Fighter 2, M. Bison kinda says that he loves Cammy? This scene is mostly known as a misinterpret between M. Bison and Cammy, but it's interesting to see that M. Bison used to have feelings for her, right? I guess. With Street Fighter 4, we now have a new villain, SIN or Sin, meaning the Shadaloo Intimidation Network. They are basically the weapons division of Shadaloo, however this time M. Bison is not the last arcade battle, but it is the leader and CEO of CIN, Seth. Seth is likely to be constructed as the organization's weapons project rather than a human. And before the actual events of Street Fighter 4, Guile, Chun-Li and Cammy are all sent to investigate its activities, including the construction of a dam that robs Dalsim's village of water. During these events, many of the dolls that Cammy wants to save from Shadaloo are all attacked by Juri Han and easily defeated. Some of the dolls, like Decapre, who will also play an important role in Street Fighter V for Cammy, are placed in status pods and loaded onto the plane by Juri, taking them to set at an unknown location where he plans to experiment on them. With dolls being taken to set and Junie, whom Cammy saved by the end of Street Fighter Alpha 3 falling into coma, Cammy enters the recently announced SIN tournament, where she swears to get revenge on Juri for the dolls, who she considers as her sisters. During the SIN tournament, at one point, she encounters Juri, a new character debuting in Street Fighter universe, serving as the main antagonist for Cammy's arcade story. And although Juri only appeared in Street Fighter 4 and 5, she will also appear in 6 also, and I plan to cover her story after the launch of Street Fighter 6 as well. Juri is a sadistic fighter who has been working with SIN, and for some reason, she has a personal vendetta against Cammy. While two engage in a fierce battle, Cammy ultimately wins the battle and reaches to SIN base, where she encounters Decapre, the doll who swears to kill Cammy, as Decapre removes her mask, revealing another copy of M. Bison. Well, technically revealing that she might be the twin of Cammy. She collapses, yelling about how she hates Cammy and her face. Right at that point, we see M. Bison appearing and informing Cammy that Decapre is slowly dying, but a bargain could be made.
なんだと?
だが我が元に戻るなら悪いわ。
Cammy allows Bison to take Decapre in exchange for saving her life. And with that, Cammy's story of Street Fighter 4 ends as she returns home to see Junie waking from her coma with amnesia, just like Cammy did before. Cammy greets her just like an older sister would, promising to help Junie to recover.
今は思い出せなくて怖いかもしれないけど、私がいる。あなたが？そう、私がお前を助ける。それに、この子もいるから。
In Street Fighter V, characters have two different stories, one being their personal story and one being the general story of Street Fighter V called A Shadow Falls, which marks the end of Shadaloo and M. Bison, leading to the events of Street Fighter 3. During Cammy's own character story, she thinks about Decapre and their encounter. Cammy now vows to protect those she had hurt before as she is contacted by her superior, informing her that Shadaloo is on the move once again. And after her arrival at the Shadaloo base, she is attacked by Fang, a new general of Shadaloo's army and now one of the most trusted men of M. Bison, seeking to kill Cammy due to her defecting from Shadaloo. The important thing about their encounter is Cammy's will to save Decapre and the other dolls from Shadaloo here. Fang mocks Cammy over her desire to protect the dolls and then alludes to Cammy's history as Killer Bee. Before she can press further, however, she's swarmed by Shadaloo soldiers as Fang mentions an operation called Chains and warns her that if she ever interferes, she will kill her with no mercy, causing Cammy to flee. When Cammy returns to London, she reunites with Junie, and as two are talking about cats just like ordinary, they are cornered by Shadaloo once again. The man who saved Cammy years ago, Vega, appears. As both Cammy and Vega battle with each other, Junie begins to recognize the claw that Vega wields is much like Decapre's. With Shadaloo on the move again and Cammy wanting to save all dolls with Decapre, Junie encourages Cammy and tells her to come back after she saves them. As Cammy leaves the scene, Juri is revealed to have been observing the whole event while spying on Cammy. leading to the events of A Shadow Falls, mostly focusing on Cammy's struggle to save Decapre from Shadaloo. In Street Fighter V's general story mode of A Shadow Falls, Cammy makes her first appearance by defending Chun-Li from M. Bison's Psycho Power attack. Before M. Bison can unleash the final blow, Cammy rushes in and manages to save Chun-Li, informing both Guile and Chun-Li about Shadaloo's plans of Black Moon and the missing hackers. Later on these events, as Cammy arrives to Karin Kanzuki's estate to discuss these events, they are attacked by Shadaloo's agents and Decapre. As Cammy defeats the Shadaloo soldiers and Decapre, she is concerned about her sister, hoping to save her from Shadaloo's control. And with that, while other Street Fighter V characters struggle to stop Shadaloo's plans of Black Moon, Cammy ultimately focuses on saving Decapre during the whole story, as she even works with Juri-Han at some point for her own sister's sake. However, the dolls of Shadaloo would never be free as long as M. Bison and Shadaloo exists. As Decapre wakes up, she is quickly consumed by the psycho power of M. Bison, attacking Cammy and forcing her to stop her sister by using force. Just at that moment, the man who said Cammy was there to see this new beauty Cammy achieved. Juri interrupts Vega's attack, forcing him to retreat to fight with Cammy for a later time. As the story of A Shadow Fall continues, Cammy arrives in the final assault against Shadaloo. She finds that all of the dolls are controlled by Fang as Cammy confronts Julie, who has become infused with psycho power. During the attack on Shadaloo base, Vega also attacks Cammy for the one last time, but this time only to face both Cammy and Decapre together as Shadaloo's doll control mechanism is destroyed. Cammy shockingly glances at Decapre, wondering why she has saved her. Juri this time is truthful in claiming that Decapre wants to help her, as they both struggle against the dolls until the effect of psycho power fades. And with both Shadaloo's and M. Bison's destruction, the sisters were thus reunited.
こっちに来たいってさ。はあ、焼いちゃう。こっちはこっちで楽しくやろうぜ。邪魔をするな。
And roughly in 30 days, we will be greeted with a new Cammy in Street Fighter 6. As being a member of British Special Forces Unit Delta Red, she distinguished herself in the operation against Shadaloo, with which she shared a fated connection. We still don't know how Cammy's story or how Doll's future would present to players, but, well, everyone is hyped with Cammy's new character design. We are nearly there, boys, just a couple of weeks before we have our new Street Fighter. And with that, Cammy's story in Street Fighter series come to an end for now. The story about determination, loyalty and redemption. From her origins as a brainwashed assassin to her eventual discovery of her true identity and her fight against Shadaloo, Cammy has grown into one of my favorite characters of Street Fighter universe. Her journey has not been an easy one, but to see her more with a new design was all I wanted to see after seeing her evolution through these 30 years. As Cammy continues to evolve and grow in the series, it is clear that she will always remain a fierce and a formidable fighter, standing up against Shadaloo or evil and protecting those in need. And as always, thanks for watching today's video, and I hope you enjoyed Cammy's journey as well. And as more character videos are on their way, from reviews to character and editorial contents, I am continuing to work on more characters from Tekken, Street Fighter and Guilty Gear as well. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and subscribe to my channel for more content, and stay tuned for more.